Hey, what's up, YouTube? So lately I've been putting in some work doing body work on the Z. Since I originally did the body work on this car and put it in epoxy, I found one or two dents that I didn't correctly find before, such that there's a couple low spots in the cowl, the inspection covers, and there's one on the passenger side fender that I could see when the light would hit it just right, just a little low spot. So I'm going over perfecting those. And what this video is about is I'm going to get this three-piece spoiler molded perfectly to the car. Certainly, to get this ready for paint, the whole surface needs to really get a skim coat of filler, real light skim coat, sanded smooth, just to get out some of these waves. But really what I'm talking about here for this video is getting these gaps filled in to form to the car a lot better. You can definitely see that gap here. You can see light through there. So those are the kind of gaps that I'm talking about. So again, just doing that extra little bit to make this fit perfectly to the car. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this side piece off here, tape this area, and then I'm going to use some fiberglass filler and form it in. Now, one thing before I get to work on that is what I'm not going to do is mold this top part. There's no weather stripping on the car currently. This top part I'm going to finish after the car has been painted and I get the weather stripping in there. So I can shut this and then do my final body work on here. Okay, so got this taped up, it's ready. I sanded this with some 120, I believe, just to give it some extra adhesion for when I put the fiberglass here. Also put a little bit of tape in that gap to hopefully keep the fiberglass from sinking back in there. So here's a close-up of the front. You can tell I've already sanded it down. One tip when you're working with fiberglass and with filler too, you want to sand it just shortly after it starts getting hard. If you wait till tomorrow to try and sand this, it's going to be like sanding concrete. I mean, it's going to be very, very tough to sand. So you want to kind of do a guide coat. I got some 120 here, and while it was still soft, I kind of formed it. I just finished laying this down. I need to wait just a little bit longer, and I'll take some of these grooves out and just kind of shape it. Because like I said, you don't want to wait till tomorrow to do that. It's just going to take much, much longer because fiberglass is tough stuff, and you'll save a lot of time by hitting it while it's soft and then doing some fine tuning when it is fully dry. So it's the next day, fully dry, cured, and I realized I put too much tape on it. So pulling it off of the car is proving to be a bit difficult because the tape is really holding it down. So yeah, next time I'll just use maybe one strand of tape here and maybe try and take some of the adhesive off. So just got it off. I'm pretty happy with it actually. That worked pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit and do some test fitting and see how it came out. Wow, Look at that fitment now. Just from 15 minutes of work, mixing the fiberglass, throwing it in there, and then pulling it off the car, doing a little bit of sanding, and this is what we're left with. I mean, that's gonna be so nice. Show you the back. Definitely not its final form. We've got some filler to put in there, but you know, just first rough paths. I'm really liking it, especially the front. That looks so much better than before. One thing that's going to be a little bit tough is getting this angle consistent all the way across. Because before it kind of tapered in like this, just keeping this angle. So I got this flat block out to hopefully try and give it this angle that it needs to have. But yeah, you can see looks really nice. Just gonna go ahead and continue kind of lightly sanding some of this fiberglass resin, and when this gets to a good point, I'll probably go ahead and throw some actual filler on there to smooth out any imperfections. But man, that turned out way better than I expected on the first pass. Got this side taped up, ready to go. This side's actually a bit worse as far as the gap goes, but shouldn't be any harder to fill. Same with the back, just gap as well. However, the extra complexity on this back one, which you got to think about, and these are the little details that sometimes go unnoticed, but you know, if you work on these types of things, you're going to notice. And that's why you got to appreciate when things are straight and flat in all different directions. You got to appreciate the body work that goes into this. And what I'm talking about is, if you look from this angle, basically across the bumper, you can see there's a lot of blue showing here, and I got this Allen key to kind of give you a point of reference. Now if you go to the other side, it is flat, maybe even out a little bit too far, which I can sink back. You can see there's no gap here. So what I need to do, I need to build that side up a little bit. So add some material here to give the sides to be symmetric. Okay, just did the second pass of epoxy on this side. It had quite a bit bigger gap over here, so I did a second pass after a light sanding. I just got some 120 grit sandpaper, and you know, I'm just gonna knock down this lip and try and keep, I'm just gonna use my fingers and just rough it in, try and keep the same angle, and I'm just gonna knock down this edge so that it flows down right and doesn't have that lip there. So you can see that lip, we just want it to flow down. So I'm gonna sand that down a little bit. And here we go. Just cleaned it up a little bit, spent some extra time taking off all the excess fiberglass I had up here on the top, just to make sure I don't mess up the shape of it at all. And there's the new fitment. It's spot on. I think there's a little shadow, but it's merely perfect on the front. So that's really all I got to do to that side. I'll add filler to fill in all the pinholes. Filler's just easier to sand, and it'll give you a better finish. Now we got to do the back, because I need to do both of them at the same time, because I need this gap along, you know, this panel to be the same all the way around. So it's almost kind of like a finger width. I'll probably get something that I can run up along that's the same width all the way around, so I can keep that same path. There's just some excess material hanging over, you know, right here. It looks like I need to sand that back a little bit, and then I just need to make sure I replicate on both sides so they look the same. So I'm going to get that done. I know this is a lot of talking, but really this process is pretty easy, has not taken much time at all, not much effort either. Just a little bit of fiberglass and some sanding, and we have some really nice fitting spoiler pieces. Okay, well, I got both of the ears pretty well matching on both sides, so that's a good point. I can stop working on those and move on to the center piece. This one is pretty good fitment overall. Just on this one side, we've got a little bit of a gap. Nothing near as major as these, but there is a gap nonetheless. And while I'm here, I can just go ahead and fill that in. Just on this one side, the other side is flush. And then on this side, just a bit towards the centers here. Probably can't see it because it is pretty small. I debated whether I should try and fill it or not, but I just, I'm here. It is kind of like a credit card worth of a gap, so I'll just fill it in and then we'll be done. Okay, both of these side pieces have been sanded down and really close to the shape that they need to be. Well, they are in the shape they need to be, but now it's time to go ahead and fill in the imperfections that you get with fiberglass filler with some regular body filler. On the back here, this is where I had the most fiberglass added because I had to build this side up a little bit. So I'm going to have to add quite a bit of filler throughout this entire piece. The hardest part on this is going to be keeping this edge. You can see it's not straight right now, and this is a hard edge that I had to build up. So I'm going to have to fill it in and make sure I blend it and keep that edge all the way up to make it not noticeable. Make it all flow together like it was meant to be like that. So that's going to be tough. So here it is after I got it put in epoxy, basically covering and sealing all of the bodywork that I did. And I only sealed the bodywork because, again, I have to redo the top part depending on whenever the car gets the seals on. And I've got the car painted now, so I just wanted to wrap up this video with showing the fitment of this bottom part and the back. So I'm gonna carefully throw this on the freshly painted car and just kind of wrap up this video and show you how nice it turned out. All right, and there it is. Fitment is really nice. Looks definitely molded to the car. So just a little bit of work. Glad I could show you that. Just that extra little bit of detail of how things should fit nicely on the car, and just trying to make it the best you can. So I'll have more work once I get the seals on and see where that middle spoiler is going to sit, so I can make sure this transition all the way across is going to be nice and smooth. But that's kind of a while away, so I wanted to end this video with just giving you the basics of how I molded the bottom of it and just pass it on to you guys. So